We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Jaylen Wright, Miami Dolphins running back. I thought he shined in his first NFL preseason game. Really had a strong one, running the ball, even got some work, in the passing game that I want to go over too. Really enjoyed the play that he had, and we got to see him in outside zone, working some outside zone runs, really for the first time, because he didn't do that at all in college. That's what he's going to do majority of the time when it comes to Miami, and he was just making plays, showing off, his athletic ability, known for his speed, but he has really good footwork too, light on his feet, able to change directions. Bigger body guy that can bounce off tackles. And I thought overall his vision and instincts was pretty good. That was like the biggest thing for me. I just wanted to see how he was reading blocks, because even though you're playing against lesser opponents, how you see the field is always going to be the same. It's usually things are going to get tighter, but I still want to see how you read those blocks. And I think overall he did a good job. There was a couple times I think he could improve upon that, but it is his first action, and he ran hard, ran decisive, like with good decisiveness. So a lot of things to really build upon, and I think he can be a weapon this season. I've talked about it. I think he'll get action at some point in this season and be a nice weapon for the Dolphins. Even though currently he's running back 3, we get to see some routes from him out wide. Things didn't go perfectly for him there, but I think there's some upside to work with in that area with his route running stuff. But breaking down this first play, his touchdown right here, I thought he showed really, good vision on this play. Really good job setting up the block. It was, a gap scheme run, working off the back of this pulling guard, the left guard. And we'll break this down pretty slowly right here. He just did a good job staying square, staying patient. Good job with his feet, ready to break this to the inside. He's just working off the back of 64. He feels this, pressure from the outside, so cuts this back to the inside. And he got skinny through the hole and didn't waste any time either. He did this all very quickly, showed just a smidge of patience right there to allow it to develop, and then boom, get downhill, get skinny through. And it was really blocked well up front by the Dolphins. But I loved seeing him do things in different ways. And down in the red zone, you need a nice red zone threat that needs to finish. He shows that ability down here to make a quick decision, get upfield, good vision, good processing, all of those things. And then here's a play where it's like, things don't go well, you don't process it up perfectly, this isn't decision making, this is just pure athleticism and instincts right here. Like, he bobbles the ball, which you don't want to see. You don't want to see him, make that mistake. But so we want to see more clean catches, because receiver, he didn't do too much receiving work at Tennessee. That's why I wanted to look at a little bit of the receiving stuff. I don't think he has Achane type upside there, but I do think he can make a little bit of an impact as a receiver. Not gonna be his main thing, but great job just changing direction, showing off that pure athleticism, get to the outside, has that speed to capture, and just completely reverse his field, which is very difficult. Not something you really want to see too often, but at least it wasn't one of those things where, he made a poor decision and ran backwards. It was one of the things where, he just bobbled the ball. So I prefer that it was done this way rather than just a poor decision, run backwards and try to make something happen. He just got put in that situation because he bobbled the ball, but then he made something happen out of it. Creativity, being able to create when things don't go perfectly for you, I think is very important for a running back, and that's kind of how you separate yourself. Here, outside zone with some motion coming across on a momentum double team from Connor right there. I just think he does a good job at the start of this play. I love the process of this play. This is where we really got to see him in outside zone. We got 3 reps in a row of just him on outside zone. I think he did a good job with patience, allowing the blocks to develop, allow Connor to kick this guy out, because he knows he wants to press up into this and then bend this back to the outside, get back on track. So I think he does a good job here. Hesitating a little bit, allow it to develop, and then boom, get on track to the outside, bend that angle to the outside there. Don't bend it back so you can get away from 45. And then you have that speed to capture the edge, and then boom, take a hit from a DB in the secondary, bounce off of him like it's really nothing. I love the contact bounce, the core strength. Those are all big traits for a running back, especially with someone with his athleticism. That's nice to see. And literally just the next play, same thing. He just allows it to develop, cuts up into the hole pretty nicely, stays on his feet, runs through some arm tackles, shows off that balance when he loses some balance, still able to fall forward and pick up, extra 5 yards when he's losing balance to dive forward for the first down. Those are impressive, attributes. He just has a good feel for this stuff, and really can't wait to see more and more of him once he gets more and more comfortable. Because I do think, he's kind of farther ahead than Achane was at this point last year, and Achane went insane, quickly after, the preseason. So I do think Achane will be the better player, but I do think Wright has the potential to be a quality 3-down back, which, I think Achane can do some of that stuff, but I don't know if he'll be like a full-time 3-down back. He's just like a big-time playmaker. You get the ball in his hands, he can score almost any time. But Wright has that size to really set those things up. Here's another process. This was like his first carry, I believe, in the game on outside zone. So, a little bit different. The motion's going away from him. Don't think it was perfectly blocked up front by Fortson here, but I do like the process of how he reads this. This guy resets the line of scrimmage. He's in man aligned. He knows he's not going to capture the outside. So he, boom, quick footwork, transition upfield. Doesn't get as much, room created to the inside, which we obviously saw in the other two plays that he gets that later on. But I do like the process of how he read this. Good decision. Didn't try to get too cute in the backfield after his first little cut and just get upfield. Pick up a couple yards. That's fine. I think that's important for running back. Even, on those runs that don't end up working too well, you still, make the right decision, the process of the play, because that will lead to good plays in the future. Now some work going up the middle. Nice job working, on that inside zone stuff. I think, he kind of looked indecisive. He probably missed this hole initially, pressed up into it. And I don't mind him pressing up into a block and then cutting, but I don't think he actually saw. You could just tell from his footwork, like he hard cuts into it. But look at the lower body here, man. Look, like right there. I'm kind of missing the pause, but look at that flexion, that lower half. When your body is like this, so many guys would slip in this position, lose balance, and he's able to just hard cut off of that after going forward pretty fast, like trying to burst, and then accelerate out to the right like this. Very, very impressive lower body, change of direction skills, balance, get back on the right path, even though you probably, took yourself not in the best spot for just a step. Really, really impressed there by Wright. And he doesn't go down easily. It takes multiple guys to bring him down. After he bursts up the field, picks up a nice gain of 8. I would say like this was probably the one where he kind of just ran to the back of his block. Looks like he's, working off the gaps into they're down blocking here in the interior, like the Paul's down blocking. They have the right guard pulling. The right guard doesn't miss, which kind of complicates things. But I do feel like he should have just hit up into this as fast as he could, gained a few yards. But he kind of just runs into the back of his blocker, just doesn't feel it too well, the space. Like he had more space to just push through. He wasn't going to gain too much. Like they were all going to converge on him. But he kind of just runs into his blocks there. At least doesn't go down easy, which is nice. But I do think things could have worked out there process-wise a little bit better. So vision on those interior runs. But I do think outside overall was pretty good. He gained 2 here on something that wasn't blocked up too well. This was more of just a play I wanted to show, just to see like the decision that he's put in at this spot. Like it's a toss. They're trying to get to the outside, but create some cutback lanes. I think Wright, once he got here, he probably should have stuck a foot in the ground and then tried to get back to the inside, cut it back. He then tried to get back to the outside with this, even though they had outside leverage. And then once he did that, I think his plan here was to get hard outside and then maybe, because once he was here, it was too late to cut back inside, so he had to make that decision a little bit earlier. Maybe slow it down, but that will come with experience. So just wanted to show those plays, just, there were negatives, but overall, I thought it looked really good. And then he ran some routes. I think lining him up in the slot, out as a receiver is fun to do. Didn't get to do this very much in college. I like that he showed, some good pace variation in the route. Give you a little bit of foot fire. He's at least attempting to run some routes out here versus a linebacker. Wasn't the best route getting out of his break. And linebacker covered it up pretty well. But just wanted to show some of these plays. Here he is on the angle route. This is like the ideal route to see a running back running because you get a lot of space to work with. I like how he took a wider angle, widened this linebacker, and then boom, foot clear. I like that he's like squared him up here too. Gave a little foot fire. He steps outside of his frame. All of those things are nice. This linebacker takes away the inside throw, but you can see some of the route running potential there. Like he's not going to be an elite route runner, but you can see some of the potential to at least be like solid, I think. So that's important. And then we'll see like hands too. He had mostly at Tennessee, he just caught like screen passes, so it's hard to see the route running potential. I don't think he's an H-hand level player, but I do think he get even a little more involved in the receiving game than say like a Raheem Mostert. So Jaylen Wright, pretty like solid performance for his week 1. Made plays, good process, made big plays when things broke down and on the screen, and then just the outside zone stuff really excited me, especially those 2 runs. And it was really well blocked on those plays too. So that's when the plays are well blocked, you got to make the most out of it. That shows the good decision making, the good vision. And then you could still see like the power and contact balance he's able to run with. And I'm excited to see once he can really get out in space and break a long one when things are like, really opened up for him, and see how he, looks in those situations, because he definitely has that breakaway, long, big play type of ability. So expect more film breakdowns throughout this week, probably 2 tomorrow, and then continue 1, 2 a day, depending on how many players I think deserve film breakdowns or have enough plays to break them down. But yeah, really strong performance in the rookie class. Really like Jaylen Wright. He's wearing 25, which is my number. Shout out Jaylen Wright. So if you guys are the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the